Are you ready to go outside and feed the chickens?
Ready to go out and hang out with the chickens?
Yeah. No, you're supposed to say yes.
We're gonna go cut down the last of the greens that are in the garden that you can see behind me. Some kale and some Brussels sprouts, and we're gonna go feed it to the chickens.
This year it was pretty cool to get the raised beds because it's something that I've wanted for a long time, and having Jack build them was a pretty neat thing for our backyard, especially with having Emma and getting to teach her about gardening and planting and knowing where our food is coming from. We needed these raised beds pretty badly because where these are was originally a garden when we bought this place. It was very low and it would flood most of the time and be very wet. So we did plant in it one year but didn't have much success. So we ended up filling in this whole part of the yard, leveling it out, and adding these raised beds.
Finian, come here. Yeah. Going with the raised beds over what was here really allowed us to concentrate on the soil that we were putting in the ground. We knew that what was here wasn't that great. It was a little bit acidic. There's a lot of pine trees overhead that were dropping their needles in here. By building raised beds and filling them ourselves, we knew that we were going to be putting good soil in there and we were going to be able to get the best yield out of it. Over the course of the summer, that's what we ended up with. It was a pretty solid garden.
So another cool thing that we did in 2019 was we got to hatch our own eggs, and that was pretty neat to add to the flock. We put them in Emma's nursery because at the time she wasn't using it. It was a perfect place to incubate them and hatch them out, and then we put them in our basement before they could go outside. Today's chick moving day, and Emma couldn't be more excited. She has her chick hat on, and we're on our way to move them from Emma's nursery to the basement where we have the brooder set up. We think we mostly have Americanas. Oh, there you go. That's what they do. Like, gonna try to go and jump in Jack's lap.
Can you see it? Got a little buddy for morning chores today. So we had our own roosters and we knew they were doing pretty well. So rather than go to a hatchery and buy some chicks, we decided to hatch out our own. One, it was really cool to see the process. And two, we knew that our chickens were doing pretty well. So if we were able to hatch out our own genetics along the way, we'd be able to have eventually over time a flock that was hardy to the conditions that we experience up here in New Hampshire, where we have really cold winters.
A big first for us this year on the homestead was having pigs. We had made the decision that we wanted to be more mindful of where our food was coming from, especially with Emma and what we were feeding her, and it really felt like the most logical next step for us after having meat chickens.
You guys got to say thank you to Marion for the pumpkins. The other benefit of raising pigs was that we were going to be able to clear out all this area that you see behind me. Prior to us moving into the homestead, the homeowner didn't really take care of a lot of the woods around the house. So it ended up overgrown and really bushy. Over time, we want to clear a lot of that out, and the first step is getting that brush out of there so that we can come through with a chainsaw and then take some of the larger trees out.
Emma, can I have a kiss? Can I have a kiss? Emma.
So what's going to be new for us in 2020?
Gates first and foremost. We made this lovely enclosure about almost 2 years ago now, and then we just never really finished it. So we're gonna do, I think it's about 3 gates that need to go in to give us access to all different points of our yard, especially since we're gonna be moving our pigs this year.
Yeah, right now with the backyard, we've only got one point of access between the house and the garage, and it's not big enough to fit a tractor through. We did leave it open on one corner where I could pull it and squirt the tractor in, but it's not very effective overall, so we have 2 more gates at least that we're going to put in, possibly a 3rd.
Next, we'll probably do our driveway either in spring or late summer, early fall. Our driveway is very long, and it's been a project that we've really neglected since we moved here. I think it drives our families more nuts than it does us, especially also our FedEx man, who really doesn't deliver up at our house, unfortunately. So we're going to redo the driveway at some point.
Emma's a little excited and doesn't like being left under the camera, but she also doesn't want to come out of the sled, so. Yeah, the driveway is really long. It's gravel. It definitely needs a resurfacing, and unfortunately right now it's pretty wallowed out. It's pretty ruddy, and it really needs about 5 or 6 loads of not necessarily filled, but possibly ledge pack or crushed asphalt or something like that to really kind of give it a firm surface again, because right now the water just runs down it. The next thing is meat birds. You know, meat birds do pretty well for us. They're relatively easy to sell. People like them, and the product is extremely good, and it's a quick turnaround. We're going to take some space in the front yard. We're going to build another chicken tractor and probably do a batch in the spring and a batch in the fall, each one about 30 birds. That gives us enough birds for us to eat, and then also enough to sell to friends and family and keep their freezers stocked with some great pastured poultry.
And then we're gonna move the pigs.
So we're moving the pigs. Right now they had about an acre enclosure over this way, a little bit under an acre. It was a great spot for them. We had 3 this year and it worked out really well. Hi. But we want to scale that up a little bit. The pastured pork thing did very well for us this year. We haven't crunched the actual numbers yet, but on the surface, kind of the running tally that I kept going, it did really well. We put a whole bunch of great pastured meat in the freezer for us, and we had 4 very satisfied customers that each took home halves of pigs. So that was a great thing. What we need to do to scale that operation a little bit, though, is move to a larger area. So we have a whole bunch of land out behind us. Our property goes back a pretty good ways that way. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the pigs from over there, move them to behind where we are now, and give them a lot more room to run. We're not dead set on numbers for this year. We may do as few as 5. We may do as many as 10. We've already had a few people contact us saying they want to move from a half to a whole. And we've had some interest expressed just in halves from new customers as well. So we're pretty psyched for that. So those were our 3 biggest moments on the homestead in 2019. It was a great year for us. It worked out great. We're happy with virtually everything. We learned a lot. Thanks to everyone for liking, commenting, and subscribing over the last year. This is really something that started off just to show our family and friends, and we've met a lot of really cool people over the last year.
We're really excited to see what 2020 is going to bring on the homestead and what fun projects we're going to get into this year.
All right, I guess we'll go 1, 2, 3, and we'll all wave.
You ready, Emma?
Bye.
Bye!
Bye, everybody.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.